Welcome back, NGDL fans, and yeah, so I kind of hinted towards this and in some cases promised this, but here we have the NGDL2 playoff preview. And yeah, so we made the playoffs, and that's kind of cool. And I'm going to go through every other team in the playoffs that I may have played, may not have played. So a lot of these teams you'll see, you probably haven't seen since the preseason power rankings video I made, which I'm sure most of you didn't see. So I'm just going to go ahead and inform you guys. So obviously the playoffs are going to be broken down by conference because the NGDL2 has conferences. And yeah, the Miami Dolphiones are going to be facing the St. Louis Fletchinders, who we actually did beat earlier in the season. But they still finished with a 12-4 record, enough to be number one in the conference. The Nevada Neuverns, the winner of our division, actually ended up in the last 2 weeks, I believe, losing twice, actually dropping them down to 12-4, and St. Louis did have the tiebreaker over them. So they're going to face the Nino Pequeños, which is the one team in the conference I did not play. There's, according to the way that the pairings worked, there's like one team in the conference you did not play the Ninos Pequeños. They have the tiebreaker over me. Those are going to play the number 2 seed. And then we go to the Sevi Conference, the other conference, and we see the Jacksonville PoloMeit sitting there at 14-2, which is an amazing record. With his team being led by Porygon Z. Actually, I'm just gonna, obviously get through that stuff with the individual team previews, which are coming up, and they're gonna be playing. And mind you, this conference is a lot less competitive than the Kanto Conference ended up being. In fact, a 7-9 wildcard team ended up sneaking in, the End Kickouts. And yeah, like I said, they're 7-9. They're gonna obviously have their work cut out for them against the best team in the league, and one that I, mind you, predicted would be the best team in the league in my preseason power rankings. So I'm just gonna, just give myself a pat on the back for that one. Meanwhile, the winner of the green division, the Almelo Alomamola, are going to be taking on the 8-8 DC Septiles. So as you can see, that division was actually, that conference as a whole was very, 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 very tight. But obviously on the low end of wins, there was just a lot of teams at 8-8 and 7-9. So it came down to some crucial tiebreakers to determine which wildcard teams even made it in that conference. Meanwhile, the Kanto Conference had a 9-7 team that didn't even make the playoffs. So yeah, you can see it's kind of like the disparity between the conferences. Obviously, with the Sevi Conference, you have the big hitter, which is Jacksonville, and of course you have the Almelo Alomamola, who actually did pretty good. But you also have some wildcard teams that did not do that well in the regular season, representing the conference. It'll be interesting to see whether those teams can actually be competitive in those wildcard games. So obviously yesterday and today we were in the process of doing the playoff draft. So if you don't recall from the NGDL1, there is a additional draft that we get to draft 2 additional Pokemon. The salary cap goes up, so we have enough room in our salaries to draft 2 additional Pokemon. There will be no transactions during the playoffs, but there will be a Battle Factory swap rule in effect. So the winner of a game can swap a Pokemon from the loser of the game, so long as their salary cap permits it. So obviously you can't take the Uber from the defeated team if you only have $2 of room and you drop your PU. You can't do that. So yeah, so there's that in effect. So that's the only way to modify your rosters during the actual playoffs. But the 2 additional Pokemon that we drafted obviously is going to shake things up a little bit. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and go through that because a lot of these rosters you probably haven't seen since the preseason power rankings video. Especially because I haven't played them, so I did not play every team in the league this season. We obviously cannot with the amount of teams. So yeah, let's just go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and start it with my own game. The number 1 ranked St. Louis Fletchinders in the Kanto Conference against, well, I guess I'm the number 4 ranked team and the last wildcard team of the Kanto Conference. So I'm going to do this game preview a little bit in reverse, being that, I'm me. I'm probably going to present, in the future ones, the team that is higher ranked first, and then the lower team ranked. But for me, I just have to go ahead and, inform you guys about what I did in the playoff draft. So you have my team there. You're probably familiar with it by now if you've been following the NGDL2. And, yeah, so with the first pick of the playoff draft, I decided to bring back our Season 1 MVP, Greninja. And, Miami Dolphion fans just went wild everywhere, man. They are super psyched. Obviously, Greninja kind of led my team in the Season 1. It was like my first pick. And it kind of, obviously, to kind of define my team in Season 1, it led us to the playoffs. We weren't able to, we were able to win a playoff game. Weren't able to progress any further than that, though. And here, Greninja will be crucial. Now, there's a reason I picked it, because I did actually, because we're lower ranked, we actually did get to see what the opposition did first. And I'll go into that, when you see St. Louis's roster. But I am hyped about Greninja. Obviously, it's a great offensive threat. I think that it pairs very well with my team. I can run Protean, I can run Ash Greninja. It's pretty awesome. And with my second pick, I'm going to go ahead and pick Dustbuster. And Dustbuster is one of my favorite Pokemon. It probably won't see the field. But, my friends, I am psyched. I am determined to give Dustbuster its championship ring this season. It's a Pokemon, obviously, that I love. It is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. It is the highest base cuteness stat of all Pokemon ever. And I'm hoping I can just kind of carry it to the championship game. Really, when it got to me, I was looking through the PU list because that's all I could afford. And honestly, there wasn't really a Pokemon that stood out to me that wasn't already on a roster that I would say, you know what, I'm going to use that Pokemon, so why not pick Dustbuster, one of my mascots, in that slot. My opponent in this battle, a battle that will probably be posted either tomorrow or the next day, is the St. Louis Fletchinders, coached by Quilliams23. And it's not much to say about this roster. You probably recall the game that I had against him about the freaking cow that killed God, and then he got kind of swept by a, elephant. But he has done some things, my friends. He has gotten Clefable, and Clefable is a very interesting Pokemon. It was originally part of the, Fat Jesus' team, the Silverback Mamoswines. We end up dropping it, and actually it's a really good pickup because of its unaware ability. He probably wanted to pick it up to slow down my god, aka Arceus. Obviously, he'll be coming in if it uses unaware. Obviously, you can also get Magic Guard, but I'm kind of anticipating an unaware set, which I probably shouldn't even say on this video right now because he's probably watching before the battle. Then he might change his mind. But unaware, it's way too strong against my team, I think, to really matter. One of the reasons I picked up Greninja is because I feel like it can match up very well against most of his threats. He ends up bringing in his, the Serbian Edge Masters Pokemon, Virizion, with another pick, once again, a pretty good pick. He has, obviously, the high special defense stat, which will, slow down Greninja, and Thundurus, and a lot of my other special Pokemon. Meanwhile, he has the fighting typing, which can hit Arceus super effective. So, an interesting playoff draft there by St. Louis. One that I think that I should have a few surprises for him. But our first match was super close, if you guys recall, and this guy proved to be the best, the best team in the conference. So obviously, we're going to take nothing for granted. We're going to, pull no punches when we battle here, St. Louis. Being that we already hit the 8-minute mark, let's go ahead and get into the other teams. I feel like I've done enough to hype up this match. Anyway, so the second, match that is going on in the Kanto Conference, the winner of this match, mind you, we will play if we beat St. Louis, or St. Louis will play if they defeat us, is the Novoto Neuverns versus the other wildcard team in the conference, the Ninos Pequeños. You should be very familiar with this team because he was a division rival of mine. We battled him twice. I won once. So you should be familiar with that part of the roster. Obviously, he has the, the Necrozma, which can be any form in this league. So it's very, very, very strong. He's going to, add to it by adding the Tapu Fini that was originally on the Magnum Opus team. And mind you, Tapu Fini is very strong, and obviously with his ability, being able to set up Psychic Terrain, in addition to these very fast Pokemon with Rabombi and, Heligo, it's going to be very strong. Mandibuzz was more of a defensive pick. It adds to his core of other defensive Pokemon like Regirock and Vaporeon. I think it was a very strong playoff draft, but let's go ahead and see what his opponent did to try to counteract, Novoto's very, very strong roster. So the Ninos Pequeños added Porygon to, and mind you, we didn't actually play this roster. He ends up having 2 Mega, so he can bring either Mega Gallade or Mega Pidgeot. It's a team that he modified quite a bit during the regular season, and we didn't actually play them, so this team might look a little unfamiliar to you, but it's a very interesting team, and so Mega Gallade and Mega Pidgeot is obviously going to be a pretty good duo. He has the Cobalion, he has man, I have to talk about everything in this roster. He has the ability to, go unaware with his Quagsire, which I already said is a pretty good ability at stopping sweeps. And in the playoff draft, he ended up adding Hoopa, which you can use, obviously, the Unbound version, which obviously has the, immunity to Psychics, which I assume he picked to help counter the Tapu Fini. And he also brought Porygon 2 in, which obviously is one of the best Eviolite users in the game, he's hoping to slow down Novado's major attack. Looking at these rosters, and I'm going to do this for every game that's not mine, I'm going to go ahead and predict a Novato win here. It's going to be a very well-fought game, but I'm not entirely sure that Ninus Pequeños has, a way still to counter, Necrozma, and I think Tapu Fini might actually push it over the edge, but should be a very interesting game nonetheless, and one that I might end up regretting picking the opposition. Meanwhile, going into the Sevii Conference, we have the Jacksonville PoloMeites here, and this was the #1 team in the league, 14-2, and he had a very, very good core here with Tapu Koko, and really the league kill leader, which is Porygon Z. We did not ban Rainbow Boost, so he's been killing it with Z conversion, and of course he has that Ditto, that $1 Ditto that allows him to pretty much stop, or scare away opponent sweeps. Well, as long as that thing's alive, because he can just steal sweeps, it allows him to play offensively while always keeping the opponent from setting up, which is obviously very strong. He also has that Cloyster, which allows the same thing, and he's going to continue his ability, sniping Mega Lopunny away from the Toronto Razor Leaves, and that Raichu away from the Quillavas. So Mega Lopunny is just another really strong offensive threat that he can use to harass teams that are too afraid to set up. And this team is just obviously very strong at 14-2. Only lost 2 games the entire season, and he's matched up against the 7-9 East End Gugoats, who barely squeaked into the playoffs. So obviously things are going very well for Fulham, and it's a team I thought was probably the best going into the league, and going into the season, and it's definitely proved me right. And we're going to see if this Goliath will be taken out by the David that is the East End Gugoats. Now, this was the team that I did not rank very well earlier in the season, being one of the, I think I ranked it as in second worst in the Yellow Division. The Yellow Division I ranked pretty highly, despite the fact that it didn't really play up to that. But this is a interesting team, and they squeaked in the playoffs through tiebreakers. And in the playoff draft, they're going to go ahead and take Gastrodon, which is a very, very interesting pick. And they take that away from, so they didn't really spend much in the playoff draft, which is very interesting. They only had $35, by far the least amount in the playoff draft, but they only spent $11 of it, leaving 24 in cap room to potentially hopefully for them, steal from Jacksonville if they win. And they have a lot of interesting things. They have that Sableye, but it cannot be Mega because they only spent $1 on it. His Mega is going to be Mega Alakazam. I did not play this team in the regular season. I did not play any team in the Yellow Division in the regular season, so I didn't play Jacksonville either. That Cresselia, I love the Cresselia pick. Cresselia is a value pick at $10. It was definitely a great Pokemon in the Quillavas. He is hoping that it will, help wall against some of Fulham's bigger offensive threats like the Porygon Z and the Tapu Koko. We'll see how it works out for him. He's proven to be a talented battler in this league, but obviously not one that was even able to win over half their games. In fact, they lost more games than they won. So I'm going to have to go ahead and say that the experience with Jacksonville is going to pull this game, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I'm going to give East End a fighting chance here. I think it's going to be a close match, maybe 2-0, because Fulham will have to pretty much work down some of that defensive core that they just picked up in the playoff draft in order to get for the sweeps. But anything can happen. I don't want to call any matches. I'm predicting because that's kind of fun. That's kind of the point of these previews. But I'm not going to say that it's clinched by any means. Okay, so that brings me to the other game in the Sevii Conference. Like I said in the first part of the video, the Sevii Conference is kind of weak compared to the Kanto Conference. This is a 10-6 division winner, by far the lowest record for a division winner, but they still were able to conquer their Green Division, and they did it with a 2-digit win. So I can't really 2-digit win record. So I can't really hate on them that much. The same record I finished with, other than the schedule. But whatever. I kind of trashed this team in my preseason power rankings due to I thought, I could see if overspending on Heatran and Raikou, but it ended up working out for them in the end. And here they were able to get Mega Venusaur, which I think actually pairs very nicely with Heatran and Raikou. Due to defensive core, and also nab Slowbro. So they nab really, really good two defensive Pokemon, and I really like this roster a lot more now. It's going to be a diverse, it's going to be hard to hit, and I think Mello Alomomola, God, I hate that name, but because I cannot say it, will be a fighting force, perhaps, and maybe the team to challenge Jacksonville in this conference? Just asking. Their opponent first, though, they'll have to get past first the DC Skeptiles, led by Skep Gandy. And this is a team that finished 8-8 and actually got the first wild card in the conference. Mind you, I finished 10-6 and had to be the second wild card, and there's a 9-7 team that didn't make it in the Kanto Conference. But this team holds an Uber, and he actually made the most transactions during the regular season of any other team. He accrued, let me just double check here. He accrued $9 of dead money, so he made 9 transactions in the regular season. I think the next highest person was like $6, so 6 transactions. So he modified his team quite a bit. This team started with this team started with Marshadow, and it's actually the team I fought first. This was my week 1 opponent in the NGDL2. So you might recall the Marshadow pick, and then he decided to change his Uber. I think he used Giratina, and then he switched eventually into Mewtwo. So he kind of like morphed his team quite a bit. So it might look a little unrecognizable from its original appearance. But he still kept the Kyurem. Wait, did he even have Kyurem in our week 1 matchup? I don't even remember. He actually picked up his namesake Pokemon, Sceptile, so he has a little bit of honor there. And in the playoff draft, he ended up grabbing Mega Charizard away from actually the Quilava Granite's or whatever, Yusa's former team. I think the new owner actually dropping Mega Charizard, but no one picked it up. But he's going to go ahead and pick it up for $35. So you can either use Mega Charizard X or Charizard Y. Unfortunately, I don't really see the synergy there, but it is an excellent pickup. And he's also going to pick up Samurott. I really did like what Alomomola did, though. So while, it's kind of weird to pick Mega Venusaur over Mega Charizard, I'm going to go ahead and say Alomomola is going to be able to take this match. But, Skep has proven to be a resourceful battler, and he's actually battled his way back. I think he started the season really badly. I think he was in for a while, a slide of games. He really battled himself. In fact, he had a winning record towards the end of the season, so you never really know. He was just kind of hitting his stride, and he could easily win this matchup. But I'm going to go ahead and give the edge to Alomomola. I really think that's the team to challenge Jacksonville if there is one in the Sevii Conference. So yeah, I've talked way longer than I thought I would. In fact, I think this video might end up being longer than the freaking preseason power rankings at this point. And I'm super tired because it is an hour past my normal bedtime. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys there. Obviously, my battle is going to be posted pretty soon. I know that Quims23 said he could not battle this weekend, so it's either going to be today or tomorrow. Or sorry, an hour away from today. But either tomorrow or the next day. And actually thinking about, and I've already requested from all the player participants the battle codes. So I'm actually thinking about posting either all of the battles in these playoffs or some of them. So you might be getting quite a few battles in the next few weeks. You can actually leave a comment about what you want as a viewer. So if you want to see all the playoff battles, or you only want to see some that I think that are highlights, or you don't want to see any of them but mine, I'm definitely going to at the very least post the championship match, even if I'm not in it, like I did last time. That is pretty much non-negotiable. But you can leave a comment about if you managed to actually make it this far in the video, how much of the playoffs you'd like to see that are not of my team. Obviously, I'm going to post any team that the Dolphiones are involved in. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about these playoffs. This is a playoff preview, and this is the Killer Nacho now signing out. But yeah, I guess you guys can leave a comment as well about which team you think is going to be the strongest, which playoff draft you think was the best, etc., etc., etc. Thank you for watching this video, and I am going to literally die now. Later, bye.